So you've probably heard about the FHSA, which is the First Home Savings Account, which helps Canadians buy their first home, or at least save towards their first home. Good idea, good plan, but for someone like me, I don't plan to buy a home anytime soon. So what do? Well, I still opened an FHSA account 2 years ago, and I've been contributing to it ever since. It does sound a little bit backward because the account literally says home savings, which is for people who are planning to buy a house. So why would someone like me invest in an FHSA? Anyways, let me tell you my thought process. Let me tell you why I am still funding my FHSA account and what I plan to do with it, even if I don't plan to buy a house. Stick around to the end and you'll find out why. So let's do a quick refresher because I don't want to assume that everybody knows what the FHSA means. It is a First Home Savings Account. It was launched in 2023, and the idea behind it is it gives an extra savings room for first home buyers to save towards buying their house. Now, the way the FHSA works, it works like a hybrid, like it works as a combination of the RRSP and the TFSA. And here's what I mean. With the FHSA, when you contribute into it, you get a tax deduction. As soon as your money goes in, you get your taxes back. And the income that grows, or the contribution that grows within that account, grows tax-free. So you don't get to pay taxes on the growth within your FHSA, which is similar to what the TFSA looks like. And as long as that money is going towards buying a qualifying first home, emphasis on that, so you need to use it for a home purchase. It is like having the best of both worlds. I mean, that part is not very controversial. That part is understandable, right? But the part that people don't really talk about is what happens if buying a house is not part of the plan. And the good thing with the FHSA is you can contribute up to $40,000 at a rate of $8,000 per year. So it gives you a lot of room to work with. So I can hear a lot of people wondering, so what if I don't want to buy a house? Why would I contribute to this account that is specifically for home ownership? Well, and I want you to think about it this way. Think about the FHSA like a designated parking spot where you can contribute money for at least 15 years, because that is the limit. You have to use the savings in your FHSA to buy a house or to pay towards a contributing first home within the first 15 years of your first contribution. All right, so there's a 15 limit timer on it. So what I'm trying to do, or what my strategy is to use that 15-year limit to get a tax deduction for my FHSA and just grow whatever contribution I make, right? So at the end of 15 years, you have to either decide, do you want to go buy a house or do you want to do something else? So really you have two choices to make. At the end of the 15 years, or within the 15 years, you can make a choice of, say, you want to transfer the entire balance into your RRSP tax-free. And the best part is it doesn't eat into your RRSP contribution room. So it's like you're having an extra RRSP contribution room. You just move whatever balance is sitting in your FHSA into your RRSP and you move on with your life. Now, if you don't want to do that, your second option is you make a withdrawal from your FHSA. You can either make that withdrawal towards buying your first home, or you can make a withdrawal and you pay the taxes as though you are withdrawing taxable income. You see, two options. Either you roll it over to your RRSP or you make a withdrawal. But realistically, my plan is not to pay taxes, or at least not to pay very high taxes. My plan is at the end of the 15 years, if I don't use it to buy a house, I will just roll it over into my RRSP and just go from there. That's literally the loophole that you can use, and it's legal. You're not breaking any rules. So the question is, why do I prioritize my FHSA, or why am I still contributing to my FHSA? And for full context, I contribute to my TFSA priority 1, my RRSP priority 2, FHSA priority 3, and if I still have anything left at the end of the day, I put it in my non-registered investment account, which is what you would call a taxable account. Now the question is, why am I doing this? And if you're thinking about copying what I do, not a recommendation, if you want to copy it, that's entirely fine. Why should you do this too? Because if you're already contributing to your TFSA and RRSP, then the FHSA is literally just like an addition to it. I looked at all the investment options, and for me personally, I like to maximize my taxes, or optimize for tax savings. The FHSA really gives me a tax advantage. So if I have an option to contribute into an account that reduces whatever taxes I have to pay, it's really a no-brainer, because who really likes paying high taxes? Certainly not me. I mean, if you do like paying high taxes, that's great. I don't have a thing against taxes. I like paying taxes because I enjoy some social benefits from being in Canada. So as a good Canadian citizen, yes, I have to pay taxes. But do I want to pay very high taxes? Of course not. So the trade-off was kind of easy. It was either pay high taxes or take advantage of a tax registered savings account, which is what the FHSA is. And honestly, I like keeping my options open because who knows? Right now, I don't feel like I need to buy a house. That might change in another 5 years' time. That might change when I have kids or when my family grows. And honestly, I like the idea of keeping my options open, really, because if my mind changed 5 years down the line that, okay, initially I didn't want to buy a house. Now my living situation has changed and I need to buy a house. I like the idea that I had put some money down in an FHSA account that I can tap into to buy that house. And so options are important, and taking advantage of tax benefits are also good too. So something for you to consider. This idea or this strategy is not for everybody, right? It's for people who really understand what they want and what their long-term plans are. And I want to give you a caveat, because I'm not going to sit down and tell you that, oh, you must max out your FHSA. If it doesn't align with your investment plan, that is completely fine. This is what works for me, because right now I have the opportunity to do it, and I might as well just do it, right? So if I had not invested in my TFSA, or if I have not built up an emergency fund, I won't be considering an FHSA. That's guaranteed. So right now I have an emergency fund set up that covers at least 1 to 2 months of my expenses. My TFSA is good. RRSP, I have some contributions there. Now I'm using the FHSA just to lock my money and get some tax benefits, right? Even if I withdraw that money later, or if I need to access that money for anything, I have a TFSA that I can tap and make a withdrawal from. So whatever goes into my FHSA is not something that I would need in like a year or 2 years' time. That's how I think about it. That's how I have structured it. So if you want to consider doing this, you need to consider what your money use case is for. If you need the money in a year or 2 years' time, I wouldn't suggest you put it in an FHSA. Do use your TFSA or use a taxable account. So the order that made sense for me and my financial situation or my money situation, it might also work for you. So here's something to consider. First things first, consider your income level, and then consider an appropriate amount of emergency fund savings, just so that you are covered if anything happens. Maybe your car breaks down or you need to travel or whatever. Your emergency fund takes care of that. Then prioritize your TFSA and your RRSP mix. That is good, so that you're sorted out in the near term and in the future at retirement. Then if you still have some excesses, you can also take advantage of the FHSA for the tax benefits and also for the option of having that tax advantage or that savings advantage if and when you want to buy a house down the line. And if you've succeeded in covering all of these accounts and you have something extra left, you can put that into a taxable account and you have yourself fully set up for the rest of the year. So if anyone asks me, why would I open a house savings account if I don't plan to buy a house anytime soon, I'll just point them to this video and let them watch it. So I'll give them a recap and say, I'm doing this because 1, I want to give myself the option. 2, I'm taking advantage of the tax benefits. 3, it rolls into my RRSP. If I don't use it at the end of the 15 years, it's still a savings for the future. It's still my account. It's still me saving for myself and whatever it is I want to use the money for down the line. So if you're using your FHSA, or if you've opened your FHSA, let me know if you're doing the same thing that I do. Let me know if you're saving towards buying a house, because the house prices in Toronto, in Ontario, in Canada, insane. But hopefully those prices come within range, and maybe I'll change my mind into buying one. All right, that's all I have for you today. Let me know in the comments if you found this very helpful. Like and subscribe. Tell somebody about my channel, and I'll see you on the next one.